Hey friends, Sleepy here, and welcome to a new discussion video in my discussion series, Consoles, Games, Collecting. This is episode 8, and the topic for today's video is going to be about one of my absolute favorite horror series of all time, Silent Hill. Now, of course, you guys know I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on the Silent Hill series, so feel free to participate in this discussion. I would love to read your guys' comments, but if you feel like that this is maybe one of those games or series or some topic that, a comment wouldn't do it justice and you would like to film a video response talking about the Silent Hill series, I would love to watch your guys' video response. I just ask you guys let me know about it so that I can check it out, because I would hate to miss it. And then I will post a link to your video response as a comment so that other people can check it out as well. So this is the month of October, which is the perfect time to be playing a horror video game, as it's getting colder out, it gets dark earlier, and at the end of this month we have Halloween, so a perfect time to be playing horror video games. And I always love to play horror games this time of year. You always get into the mood, and Silent Hill has been a favorite series of mine ever since I played the original Silent Hill back in 1999 on the PlayStation 1, which I have right here. This was a fantastic game. I remember that my brother had rented this game from Blockbuster. I had no idea about the game. He had heard about it from a buddy who had rented it before him and really enjoyed it, said it was a spooky, freaky game and that he should check it out. So I remember my brother taking it home and was playing, and I was watching him play through the game, and he was a little freaked out at the beginning of it, but was pushing through and playing it. And then I remember when he got to the part where the game finally went from day to night, that he really got freaked out and couldn't play it anymore, and passed me the controller and had me continue playing the game. And that's when I first got my chance to actually play, because I had been watching him play it, and it was really fun. I really loved the game. The graphics were really great at the time, and it was really freaky and spooky going through the town. So in the original Silent Hill, you play as Harry Mason, and he's going to the town of Silent Hill with his daughter Cheryl on vacation. And on their way to the town, a shadowy figure at night darts out in front of Harry's Jeep, and he swerves to not hit her and loses control and crashes off. Then hours later he wakes up, it's daytime out, and he's alone in this town of Silent Hill. It's all foggy out, eerie, there's nobody really around. And then he sees his daughter Cheryl in the distance, and then she runs off, and then so that's where the game picks up. And throughout the game, Harry Mason is trying to find out what happens to his daughter, and it is a really freaky experience as he deals with monsters and demons and creatures out in the world. He encounters some of the inhabitants of Silent Hill, which are not normal people, kind of crazy. It deals with this cult that lives in Silent Hill that wants to bring about like the end of the world, and that they believe that they're going to bring this god that's going to bring a whole new world about it. And it deals with occult stuff like that. And so it was just a really fascinating game. It's also a game that had multiple endings, as there's 5 different endings you can achieve. There's a good ending, a bad ending, but then there's like a really bad ending, the bad plus, and then there's like a good plus, and then there was also a secret UFO ending. And so I'm going to insert a little gameplay clip here, going into a little bit more detail, talking about the first Silent Hill game. Original Silent Hill 1. And you can play the game on either easy, normal, or hard. The game has 5 endings, so I recommend starting on easy, because then you can play a New Game Plus through normal, and then New Game Plus on hard, and you can unlock secret weapons and stuff. So you guys saw that little intro cutscene, intro little thing showing you how you made your way here to Silent Hill. Cheryl, where could you be? It's strange. It's quiet, too quiet. This place is like a ghost town. Cheryl. So in this game you play Harry Mason, who was on his way to Silent Hill with his daughter Cheryl for a vacation, and as you saw, a little girl appeared in the road that made him swerve off and he crashed. And now that he's here in Silent Hill, he woke up in his Jeep and Cheryl's nowhere to be found, and now he's got to try to find her and try to save her. Yeah, you can actually hear those footsteps, which is pretty cool. There's Cheryl.
Cheryl? Is that Cheryl? Where are you going? Hey, wait! Stop!
Do love the voice actor for Harry Mason. Now we gotta try to catch Cheryl here. So you guys hear those sirens in the background? That lets you know they are transitioning from normal world to this hell nightmare world, which this game started out, the first one that had the 2 different realities, the normal world and then the hell world. It's really freaky. As you can see, it's getting darker out. That's strange, it's getting darker. It's better than nothing, I guess, so I had to light a match to see. Now it's raining out. And I love the use of the lighting and the sounds that this broken wheelchair are making. Really creep you out. And the camera angles, everything about this just brings in to dread. And finding like here, a bloody body, flies and shit, blood everywhere, just creepy. And this was such an amazing intro for this game to just tell you that, like, yeah, you're going to be having a scary experience, and holy fuck, look what you're getting yourself into by playing this game.
This? What's going on here?
This mangled dead body. Now you get to encounter the first enemies, the little child demon guys, which unfortunately you can't fight them here. There's nothing to fight, so you just have to let them kill you. But that's completely part of the story. Don't worry about it. You don't get a game over or anything. It's completely part of your intro to Silent Hill. I do love the cutscenes they used for this game. And they do look really nice for being old PS1 games. And then the other cutscenes will take over an in-game engine.
How do you feel?
Oh, like I've been run over by a truck. But I'm alright, I guess.
Glad to hear it. You from around here? Why don't you tell me what happened?
Wait a second, I'm just a tourist. I came here for a vacation. I just got here. I don't know what happened. I'd like to find out myself. Have you seen a little girl? Just turned 7 last month. Short, black hair. My daughter.
Sorry. The only person I've seen in this town is you.
Where is everybody?
I'd tell you if I knew, believe me. But from what I can tell, something bizarre's going on. That's all I know. What's your name?
Harry. Harry Mason.
Sybil Bennett. I'm a police officer from Brams, the next town over. The phones are all dead, and the radio too. I'm going back to call in some reinforcements. Hold it. Where do you think you're going?
My daughter. I've got to find her.
No way. It's dangerous out there.
In that case, I need to find her now. Cheryl's my little girl. I can't just leave her out there by herself.
Have you got a gun?
No.
Take this, and hope you don't have to use it.
Now we're getting our first weapon, the handgun.
Now listen to me. Before you pull the trigger, know who you're shooting. And don't do it unless you have to. And don't go blasting me by mistake. Got it?
Yeah, thanks.
You do best to stay nearby. I'll be back with help as quick as I can.
There's our first character, Sybil, we get to interact with. Now, it's such a video game thing, though, that people have mentioned, is how a police officer would just randomly hand some guy she just met and talked to for 5 minutes, would hand you a handgun in any kind of situation like this, but it's just a video game, but I find it funny. So here we get a health drink, so this is what started with the health drinks that can heal you, but not completely, and then you will also find first aid kits. The iconic flashlight that the series is known for, and then also, of course, finding the map of Silent Hill. Such a classic map here, this residential map of Silent Hill. Ooh, did you see that little thing fly by? And then here is where you actually save on these little notepads, which is cool. So I'll show you guys the menu here, which you can see my status of Harry where it's green again. That'll change color and eventually turn like orange, yellow, and red when my health is really low, and I'll have to refill my health by using these health drinks. And then here's the gun, which I'm going to equip, which has 15 bullets. And you can adjust options and stuff and check the map and exit and your equipment there. Alright, let's try to go outside the diner.
What's that? Huh. Radio. What's going on with that radio?
And now our first enemy we can fight are these.
This is not a dream. What's happening to this place?
So there's the iconic radio that Harry finds that emits a static noise whenever enemies are nearby. Again, enemies cannot hear it, so it's important to always keep that radio on so you can know where enemies are. Where could Cheryl have gone? I guess I'll check that alley again. So now we're going to go back to where we saw when we first played. And I love this, is it tells you right where to go. So again, things I love about these interactive maps that games have in the Silent Hill series is the characters will update the map for you as you play in real time and tell you where there's locked doors you can go through, or where you need to go. And it also marks where, like, save place, so it knows that the cafe is a safe area, but it also has a place where you can save, which is cool. Now, what's turning to was really cool is they had to actually add in this fog to cover up the draw distance, because the PlayStation 1 had limited capabilities for 3D gaming. And so that's why they have this iconic fog in there, and it really sets the mood for Silent Hill games by having the fog in them. And it's really cool that they had to come up with this idea for coming up with a solution to having performance issues. And that issue from the PS1 is what made it an iconic part of the game and the lore. Now, sometimes the thing is changing is because I'm playing it on the PS2, so the graphics are switching between the different menu settings. So that's only because I'm playing on the PS2 with component cables. But I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of gameplay, an intro here to Silent Hill 1. Oh, you guys can hear the bird. Ah. Which, again, in this one, it's important to not fight all the enemies, especially you're out here out in the open. It's much easier to dodge enemies where you're in closed spaces in a building. You know, you might want to have to fight more, but, you know, it pays to outrun enemies. Also got to watch out. I hear it. There's a dog enemy somewhere. You can hear it running, which is another monster. Oh, you can hear that little fucker somewhere. Whoop, there he is. Woo! Some freaky creatures and stuff you fight in this game, but I just wanted you guys to have a little look here at the original Silent Hill. Such a fantastic game, and it's what got me into the series. I loved the little intro video, and then that very start of the game where it seems kind of normal, and then all of a sudden it goes to hell, and you see bloody bodies and blood everywhere, and it just shows you that this is a horror game. But it's definitely one I think you guys should play. If you've never played the original Silent Hill, highly, highly recommend you check out Silent Hill 1 on PlayStation 1. A fantastic game, and definitely worth playing. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed that look at Silent Hill for the PlayStation 1. Fantastic game, and one of my favorite games in the series. And now one of my big draws to the series that's different compared to other horror series like Resident Evil and other video games in general is that the main protagonist characters that you play as are not super soldiers, they're not trained military experts, they're not Rambos, they're just ordinary citizens who have found themselves in the town of Silent Hill and are in really eerie, horrific, hellish settings. And it's how the characters react to that world and stuff that I really enjoy. As you could put yourself in the character's shoes. You know, you're not a super trained soldier. You're just a regular average person. And how would you react and handle stuff? So, you know, they don't handle melee weapons the best. They're not the best with guns and stuff. And that's what I really loved about this series, is it's putting average people in such crazy nightmarish settings. Really loved the Silent Hill game, and it's one I definitely think you guys should check out. Now we're going to talk about its sequel, Silent Hill 2. Now, I originally played this game on PlayStation 2, which I do own it on PlayStation 2. However, my PlayStation 2 copy is currently put away in storage. Unfortunately, I was not able to get it out for this video, but I do have a copy of Silent Hill 2 Restless Dreams that I own for the original Xbox that I have here. Now, I absolutely loved Silent Hill 2. This is actually my favorite game in the entire series. I absolutely love Silent Hill 2. It really blew my mind when we went from PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2 because the graphics got such an upgrade boost to it. Gameplay, the music, the visuals, everything got an upgrade in this one. Now, in this game, you play as James Sunderland. Now, he gets a letter from his dead wife, Mary, who's been dead for 3 years, and she says that she's waiting for him in their special place, which the town of Silent Hill is their special place, and he's compelled to go back there. Even though he thinks it's kind of crazy, like how can a dead person write a letter, he's still compelled for some reason to go back to Silent Hill and try to find her. And at the beginning of the game, you're on the outskirts of town, and he'll give you guys a little brief description of his life and stuff, and then he makes his way to the town of Silent Hill, where he again is going to encounter odd people. He encounters creatures and stuff, and the eerie town of Silent Hill. Now, I remember when this game had first come out, we rented it at a Blockbuster, and the game just absolutely blew me away because I loved its visuals. The music too was fantastic, and it was just one of those games that I just had to play through, and I really liked the ideas in this game and what they represent and the whole psychological aspect to it. Again, this game also had multiple endings, which was great. You know, it's because depending on how you play the game would determine the ending that you would receive, whether it was a good ending or a bad ending or some crazy other endings in it as well. Very cool game series, and a really cool entry into the series. And then what I really liked is when they re-released it for the original Xbox, they added this Restless Dreams part where you get to play as Maria, is a character that James encounters, where you get to play a little game as her before she meets James. And so that was really cool, neat extra. Now, there is a little thing here that if you were to buy the Silent Hill 2 Greatest Hits version, they actually added the content from this Restless Dreams version and put it on the PlayStation 2. So the only way to get it in America for PlayStation 2 with the extra content is to get the Greatest Hits version. So let's take a look at Silent Hill 2, which I'm going to use the HD remake just because it's easier to check out gameplay of that game. So let's check it out. Alright, now we're looking at Silent Hill 2. This is my favorite game in the series. And I'm playing it here in the HD collection, as it's just easier for me to show you guys without having to hook up my original Xbox. It is backwards compatible with Xbox One X and Xbox Series consoles, and it does get a nice graphical boost by being played on the more powerful hardware. But a really good game. I do have to warn you, though, that the game is a lot darker in this HD remastered version compared to the original PS2 and Xbox games. Now, if you'll notice that James, his head will turn when he sees items or people he can interact with or whatever it is he's looking at. So, like, see, there's a health potion here near her. He can actually go over there and we can pick that up, but his head will turn towards it. And something else that's really cool, and something I really love about these Silent Hill games, is the way that you find clues for solving puzzles and stuff. Like you'll find memos written around the world, and then you can read what people have written behind. And reading this can help you solve puzzles that are in the game. It also gives you a little insight into the world and some lore and stuff. So it's really important to look around for stuff to read, as you can really learn a lot about the game and the world and how to solve puzzles. Like here's a thing here to solve a puzzle for later in the game, finding the purple bull key. This also has a control scheme where you can do a new 3D control scheme, where you can do the classic tank controls with 2D. And James saves by finding these little red notebooks around. Another classic with the Silent Hill games is having access to the map, which works in real time. As James interacts with this environment, he'll actually make marks on the map for you. So he marked down where the save place is, and he marked for doors he can go through. If he finds a door he can't go through, he'll actually mark that on there for you, so that you know that you can't go into those rooms. So like we could try this pharmacy room. It shows that it's locked. That room's locked. And that room's locked. So if we look on the map, it actually updated that I can't go through there. So the maps are very key. You gotta make sure that when you enter a new area, they always have a map at the beginning there that you grab it. Now another trick that I'll tell you guys about is that your flashlight is very important in this game, as it helps you to see. Because if you don't have the flashlight on, the game is really dark and can be harder to see. Now my camera is making it look brighter than what I'm seeing on my TV, but I would recommend maybe turning up the brightness setting on your TV if you're having trouble seeing it in the dark, because something that can be really handy in this game is you can try to sneak by enemies, because if they can't see you, it's harder for them to find you, and they might not attack you. Where if you have your light on, they can easily see James and come right at him. They also listen for noise and stuff as well, so you have to be mindful of the noise you make. And having this flashlight on, just makes you stick out like a sore thumb. But if your light is off, I can't check my map, and I also can't find items to pick up. Even if you see the item, he can't pick it up because he can't see it in the dark. You'll have to turn your light on. But it definitely does pay sometimes to turn off the flashlight when you're trying to get by enemies. Because again, the main thing with Silent Hill is knowing when to fight and when not to fight. You don't want to go through and kill every enemy that's in the game, especially on the harder difficulty settings, as you will not have the ammo and the health items required for killing every enemy. Sometimes it's better to run, but sometimes, like in these enclosed quarters here in this hospital, that's not always possible. I really like the menu system here, as you have a status symbol of what James's health is, which you can see in the screen there that's flickering up in the corner. When that's solid green, it means I have full health. But as I take damage, it starts changing, where you start seeing the world as like a normal view here, and you start seeing those little lines. It shows I've taken damage. When it starts getting really red, that's when you know you're close to dying. And also pay attention to how James is reacting, his character, how he's moving. He'll start slowing down and panting more when he's taking a lot of damage, and then you can fix that by taking a healing item. Like we'll take this healing one here, and now he's back to full health again. And as you play through the game, you will encounter various items like these health drinks, which provide some healing, but it's not a lot of health. Where if you take a lot of damage, these first aid kits are the best. However, there's not as many first aid kits in the world as there are health drinks. And of course, the harder difficulty you play on, the less items they give you. And you will encounter guns, which you eventually get, which are a great way for dispatching enemies. And then of course you have to find ammunition with it, which you can actually unlock in the secret menu. There's a secret menu in the game you guys can actually unlock in this by beating the game, and then you can actually add and turn on more bullets, which I had turned on, so that's why I have so many bullets. but you also have really some cool secret weapons you can find, like this hyper spray or a chainsaw weapon. Now, some of the normal melee weapons you'll eventually get are like the steel pipe, and then the wooden plank is what you start with. And then you have your flashlight, which is very handy. And then you have, which is a staple in these Silent Hill games, is the radio, which you want to make sure you always turn this on, because the radio emits a static whenever monsters are nearby, and you want to listen to the pitch and the sound. It'll be a lot louder as enemies get closer to you. If they're further away, it won't be as loud. And the enemies can't hear it, so there's no point in not keeping your radio on at all times, because this gives you an audio clue that a monster is nearby. You also hear them scream and make noise, so important to keep that on. But sometimes if you turn off your flashlight, like I said, enemies won't be able to find you as easy. But also, he can't fight as well in the dark, as he can't see to aim properly. And also, again, James is just an average, everyday Joe guy. He is not a Rambo, super soldier, anything like that. So be aware that he will be kind of clunky to control at times, and that was made like that on purpose, because they wanted you to feel uneasy as like a normal person. You're not a superhero, you're just an average person that's been set into hell, and you're going to fight some enemies. So we're about to fight some nurses here, and I want to show you guys some combat with the gun. And then when an enemy's down, you can give a final finish off move. And you gotta watch out, because like these ones have pipes that they carry, but you can see when they're dead, they'll have a little pool of blood to go through. And those were the nurses. If I turned off the light, they would not have been able to see me as well. But in these tight quarters, sometimes it's better to use your guns, but you also can use melee weapons against enemies as well. Alright, let me equip one real quick, the pipe, and I'll show you. This is a much easier enemy, mannequin, to fight. And then you always want to finish them off, because if you still hear the static emitting, the monster is not down. It's not dead, it's just down. And they can get back up, and sometimes they will get back up. And of course, the harder difficulty you guys play on, the tougher they are to kill, the more damage it'll take to bring them down, and the harder they'll hit you, and can make you lose health a lot quicker on the harder difficulty settings. So it's very important. The game also has a lot of boss fights as well to go through, and of course in the harder difficulty settings, when you're playing through those boss battles, they do get much more difficult, and they take more ammo to defeat. But I just love this game. I just love the story. It's so fantastic. You have so many endings. There's 5 different endings that you can unlock, and there's also other secret things to discover in the game and lore. And it's just a really fantastic Silent Hill experience that I highly recommend you guys check out. I love Silent Hill 2. It's my absolute favorite game in the series, and it's one I think you guys should play. Hope you guys enjoyed this little look at Silent Hill 2. I didn't want to ruin any of the story for you guys, so we're just talking about my love of the game and stuff. But I don't want to go into any detail, really, of the story or lore too much, as I want you guys to experience that for yourselves, as I feel that would ruin your experience if I went into too much detail about the story. Hope you guys enjoyed this look at Silent Hill 2. So there was a little look at Silent Hill 2. Like I had mentioned, it was my favorite game in the series. The music, the atmosphere, just everything about it, the visuals just looked fantastic at the time, and they still hold up pretty well today with the component cables for the original Xbox and the component cables for PlayStation 2. Of course, it does look a lot better, like I showed you guys in that HD remastered versions of the game. But such a fantastic game, and I just really like the eerie themes and aspects to Silent Hill 2 and the psychological stuff that it does to the character and to you as the player. Fantastic game. Now we're going to talk about Silent Hill 3, which again is one that I have for PlayStation 2. Unfortunately, I do not have my PlayStation 2 copy with me, but I do have Silent Hill 3 here in the Silent Hill HD collection they released for Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. Now, Silent Hill 3 takes place where you get to play as Heather Mason, which is Harry Mason's daughter. So this directly connects to the first game and deals with the whole Silent Hill cult that was in the original game and how the cult is trying to compel Heather to come back to the town of Silent Hill so they're able to revive their god and all that. And it was the first time in the series where you're now playing as a female protagonist, and it was really cool playing as Harry's daughter and continuing the story from Silent Hill 1. And so I have beaten Silent Hill 3 many times because, again, now this game, it has, just like the previous games, has multiple endings to it, some good and some bad, and then some secret and weird endings, a huge variety of new monsters and creatures and puzzles and stuff to solve. And it was a game that I really did enjoy. Again, it had more fantastic music, atmosphere, and it looked wonderful on the PlayStation 2. Of course, it does look a lot better remastered on the Xbox 360 version. But again, this was another game I loved in the Silent Hill series, and it was one that I enjoyed playing and beat multiple times on PS2, and I've also beat it multiple times here on the HD remastered version. So let's take a look at Silent Hill 3. Alright, now we're taking a look at Silent Hill 3, which I really enjoyed this game. I first had played it on PlayStation 2 when it was released, and it was a fantastic game. What I really loved about Silent Hill 3 is that it is actually a continuation of the Silent Hill 1 story, as you play as Heather Mason, which is Harry Mason's daughter, and it continues from the events of Silent Hill 1 here in Silent Hill 3, which is cool. So another thing too is there's a lot of stuff you can unlock in game. So some in-game stuff by beating this game. I beat it many times, and I'm playing it here on the HD remastered collection on my Xbox One X through backwards compatibility, only because I don't have my PS2 copy with me. It's in storage, unfortunately. So let's get into the game and show you guys, which you can see I've played it a lot. Well, last time I played it was 2012 here on the Xbox One copy, and I currently have, at the beginning of the game here, as I started a new one here, and we'll show you guys that. Now, normally Heather doesn't look like this. It's because I have a special costume on that I unlocked. I also unlocked some other costumes, so let me just put on to make her look, you know, a little different, because there are different outfits you can get for her to wear, which is cool. And again, with other like Silent Hill games, you know, there's puzzles for you to solve that you'll come across, and the character is thinking this, and so you get to read the dialogue of it. I really like, instead of being voiced, you know, it's in their head and they're thinking, and so that's why you see the text on the screen. So something's fallen between the table and the floor. I think it might be a key. If my arms were a little longer, I might be able to reach it. There's a huge pile of cardboard boxes on the table full of books. It's way too much of a pain to move something that heavy. So I got to figure out how to get that key, because I'm going to need it. So again, like other games in the Silent Hill series, you know, Heather will turn her head towards items she can interact with. And then again, she has the cult symbol there, which is lets her know that it's a saving spot. You can bring up your map like other Silent Hill games. And again, just like with Silent Hill 2, as you interact with the world, Heather will update the map and let you know about key things, doors you can go through, where saves are, and doors and stuff you can't interact with as well. The menu system is a little different compared to what Silent Hills 1 and 2 were, as they actually break up items in different ways. So you have like your items here you can interact with, like keys and key items for the game. But then you have where your weapons are. Like this is a beam saber. It's basically like a lightsaber, which I'll show you guys in a moment. It's a secret weapon you can unlock by beating the game. Then you have your knife. You have your normal like handgun weapon. And then you have this unlimited submachine gun, which is a secret weapon that I unlocked by beating the game and doing certain criteria. You got to meet certain criteria to unlock it. But then they keep your supplies like health drinks, which just like in Silent Hill 2, you know, health drinks heal you, but not as much as like finding a first aid kit. And so those are very key. And then also keeps track of where your ammo is for the various weapons that you have. You have the memos you can check out, so stuff that Heather encounters, memos and stuff that can help you solve puzzles and give you some lore and stuff as well. And then you can check out the various maps you have. So I wanted to show you guys the menu system. And I love the music and atmosphere. And again, see how I interact with that door? It'll update it in the map and puts a squiggly line knowing that I can't go that way. And then let me just check some of the options. So here you can check your brightness level, the vibration, and you can do the control type, whether you want it to be 2D or 3D type. Tank controls or a more modern control. They did add that in for this HD remaster one. It's been so long since I played the PS2 one, I don't remember if you can actually adjust that control style or not. So you'll have to pick one that fits for you. But here's my lightsaber beam weapon. Which is a secret weapon. This is just really cool. And I like the light effects of the lightsaber as it leaves like a light streak there for a second on screen, which is cool. Ooh, here we go. An enemy we can fight to show you guys. Now I'm playing on normal difficulty, so the enemies do die quicker, but not as quick as they would on easy. And again, with like Silent Hill 2, you'll know the enemies are dead when they when the blood gets released from their body. You'll know they're dead. But again, when they're knocked down, you can also hit the A button to stomp on them. So I found some beef jerky. And that's everything else. And then sometimes you can interact in the environment and she'll tell you like there's lots of stuff, but none of it really looks like it's useful, so then she will just move on. So it's important to make sure you take the time to explore everything and everywhere. Now they do have strategy guides available for these games, which come very handy when you're trying to unlock certain endings and find all of the items that are in the world, because you can miss stuff if you don't explore. There's another enemy I already killed. Whoa, and this game does have these big, giant, huge monsters, which you gotta watch out. Again, they can see you because it's light. Now, when you get into later in the game, you know, Heather will find a flashlight, and you can turn off that flashlight again to make it harder for enemies to find you. But in the light, they can easily spot Heather and will come charging right at you. But these guys are kind of bulky and slow, so they can be a little easier to defeat. So, again, like I said, you know, you don't always want to be fighting every single enemy, especially if you are low on resources and stuff. Of course, having that like unlimited machine gun, secret weapon or something, you're not going to have in your first playthrough. You could then use and go kill all the enemies, and it doesn't matter. But it's important though that you conserve your ammo and your health and stuff as you play through the game, because you don't want to waste it all in like one section of the game, because resources can be scarce to find, especially on the harder difficulty. The harder when you play through, the more difficult the game is, and again, the enemies take more damage and do more damage to your character and can be an absolute pain. But this game has some of the best stuff to unlock and collectibles and things, and you have to do certain stuff, meet certain criteria to unlock them. And if you have the strategy guide or look it up online, you can learn how to unlock it and how you unlock the different outfits that you can have Heather wear, which is just really cool. I love aspects like that in these games where you have things that are there for you to unlock by playing through the game, and it encourages you to play through more than once. Like, I really love these stories, and so I love playing the game, beating it, getting an ending, and then playing it again and getting another ending, and then playing a third time. You know, I like it that it rewards you from playing games. And you also have that new game plus mode, which is really cool and gets you the extra stuff in the world. But I just wanted to give you guys a little look here at Silent Hill 3. Again, I don't want to ruin any story of any of these Silent Hill games for you, so that's why I just wanted to show you guys a little gameplay, talk about them, and why I love them. But I think you guys will enjoy Silent Hill 3. Make sure you guys check out this game. Fantastic game. Hope you guys enjoyed that look at Silent Hill 3. I absolutely loved the game, as I really loved how it connected to the very first Silent Hill game, as it was a direct continuation of the story from Silent Hill 1, where when you played Silent Hill 2, you know, it was set with new characters, and it was in a whole different world. You know, it's not connected to the first game at all, and it was kind of its own independent story, where the overall connection, though, is just the town of Silent Hill itself. You know, it still was not connected, so I really loved that Silent Hill 3 continued the story from Silent Hill 1, and I really enjoyed it. And like I said, I had beat it multiple times, got the different endings, and it was just a fantastic experience, and one that I really loved and cherished to this day. And it's definitely one I think you guys should check out as well. And now we'll talk about Silent Hill 4, The Room, where the game really had changed how it was. I have it here for the original Xbox, so Silent Hill 4, The Room. I also owned it on PlayStation 2, obviously, but again, most of my PlayStation 2 games are in storage, and so the only one I have out is here on the original Xbox. Now, I have also played this on the PC. Heard you guys a little thing from the back. A room full of nightmares. Harry Townshend finds himself trapped in his apartment, and the only escape is through a mysterious portal that leads to a horrifying alternate reality where gruesome sights are on every corner, and his sanity being tested. He must find his way out of this nightmare terror, The Room, the latest story in the most terrifying game series of all time. So this one is like kind of a departure from the Silent Hill series, as this has first person, but then it also has the typical third person combat and experience in the world of Silent Hill. However, this game also deals with ghosts and creatures that are not able to be killed, and Henry finds himself locked in his apartment, and he's not able to get out and doesn't know why, and all he finds is this mysterious hole that then leads to Silent Hill and other eerie and crazy shit, and has to figure out what's going on in the world. Now, this is actually one of the games that I never did beat in the Silent Hill series, so it's one I definitely need to go back and actually complete. This was probably my least favorite game in the series, just because of how it departed from the first original 3 games. So I think that's why I did not play it as much as I had played the other ones, and probably why I just never went through and beat it, which I definitely want to go back here and eventually beat this game, start it all over again, and see the story's conclusion. And I'm not sure how many different endings this game has, but I know that as you play through the game, that Henry's apartment that you're trapped in starts changing, and gets more freaky and shit, and he can see things through, there's a peephole, he can see out into the hallway and see people walking by and stuff. He can look out his windows and see cars and stuff, but he can't get out of his apartment, and so you do feel trapped and claustrophobic, and shit starts appearing in his room, and just really freaky. But for me, it was just kind of a departure from the previous games, but still one that's enjoyable. So let's take a look at Silent Hill 4: The Room for the original Xbox. Alright friends, welcome. We're taking a look at Silent Hill 4: The Room. That was definitely a very freaky and fucked up intro for a Silent Hill game. You get a lot of Japanese horror vibes from that, and it definitely is a pretty fucked up game. Just some options here. Mess up the brightness a little bit. That'll work. So let's get started. And you have 3 difficulty settings: easy, normal, hard. Of course, the harder difficulty, the less resources you have, the stronger enemies are, they do more damage, take more damage. But we're just going to play it on easy. And the game does have multiple endings like other Silent Hill games. It was 2 years ago that Henry Townshend moved into room 302 of South Ashfield Heights, an apartment building in the medium-sized city of Ashfield. Henry was happy and enjoying his new life. But 5 days ago, something strange happened. He began to have a reoccurring dream each night, one other thing. He couldn't leave room 302. So what does make this Silent Hill stand out from the previous 3 Silent Hill games is that it has a first-person portion of the game, which is here in this intro part, but it also will have your traditional third person. But you can definitely tell that Henry is not in a normal-looking room. Such a stock, though. That was such a stock sound screen for Silent Hill. By the time you see that little icon, it's something he can interact with, and he'll tell you some info about the item you're looking at. It's a creepy story. TVs, they always work in Silent Hill, whether there's power or not. But what the hell happened to it? This room, is it really my room? Pretty unsettling seeing it like this. It's a terrible shape. The air is so heavy, my head hurts. Oh, that's creepy. Looks like a face. Yeah, definitely fucked up and creepy. I'm not interested in food at all. My head, it hurts. I don't feel like washing my hands right now. It smells horrible. I'm afraid to open it up. Yeah, in a Silent Hill world, it definitely would not want to open up anything like that. Who knows what the fuck you'd find in there. Door shut for good. This is that other world that's seeping in, that's in all the Silent Hills. However, this one actually allows these ghost creatures, which are actually new to the series, and these are creatures that'll follow you around that cannot be killed, but you can find items that you can like stab them with that'll keep them stuck to the ground, but they cannot be killed. So it's a first for the series. Definitely really creepy. You get kind of like Grudge feelings and vibes to this game. So freaking freaky monsters. Definitely some of the freakiest in all of the Silent Hill games. Definitely makes you feel unsettled. Now I get to see our main protagonist, Henry Townshend. Great visuals here on the original Xbox, playing with my component cables. Game looks good.
What a dream.
So now we get to explore the actual apartment. Still not working.
Hello? What? The cord's cut.
There we go. Typical Silent Hill. Phone that's not plugged in, but it still works somehow. Definitely reminds me of Silent Hill 1. Really creepy. So let's go out and check out and see how the apartment looks now. And so this is the little hub world as you will go to actual areas in Silent Hill and stuff, but this is the main little hub area where you can run around in his room. And here's where you can store extra items and stuff, weapons and other items. It's weird, a few days ago the power to my TV and my VCR just stopped coming on ever since I started having those nightmares. And you can see, for first time in Silent Hill, you can actually see some normal people walking around. You can see normal cars and people going about their life. You just can't get out of your room. And then you can just look out and see your various neighbors. It's really cool to come and check this window as you play throughout the game, as the characters will be doing different stuff. These little red books are where you save your game. Currently got 5 minutes in so far. I don't really feel like cooking now. Don't feel like washing my hands. Alright, we got for some of our first items. Oh, jeez. What the door has. Yeah, you're chained in and cannot get out. 5 days ago, that's when I first had the nightmare. I haven't been able to get out of my room since then. The phone doesn't work, the TV doesn't work, I can't even get anybody to hear me. My whole world has suddenly turned insane. My door's chained up, the windows are sealed shut. And on top of that, someone chained the door from the inside. How am I going to get out of here? Don't go out, Walter. Definitely creepy.
What the hell? What's going on here?
And you can check through this peephole too as you play through the story, and you will see different people come and go, which helps with the story. So it's important to make sure you look through this peephole so you can get a little glimpse of what's going on in the world around you.
Hope my luck changes before the party.
What was that? So there's a little note. Mom, why doesn't he wake up? creepy. Man, this thing looks like it was written years ago. So again, like other Silent Hill games, you'll find clues and stuff that'll help you solve puzzles and issues. So let's go see what that noise was. And now there's a giant hole. This is actually how you get out of your apartment and get out into the world of Silent Hill and get into the third-person segments, as you have to go through this hole. An interesting concept, having like a hub world and then places to go. Would definitely be really creepy to want to go into a magical hole that appeared in your wall, but if you were stuck in this room, this is your only way out, so
If I get out this way.
you would probably have to go and investigate it yourself. The sewage pipe's broken too. Got a steel pipe. Got a melee weapon now. We'll enter the hole. So once you go into these segments, now it'll play like a familiar Silent Hill game. The third-person action-adventure game. Almost there. And now we're on a little escalator. Going down to who knows where.
What the hell?
Again, I do like the voice actors and the music in this. That Akira Yamaoka does a fantastic job with the music in these games in Silent Hill. It just really draws you into the world. Now, you can see it controls like a typical Silent Hill game. There we go, it's equipped. There's my health. And the map, which he draws as you go through. And you can run with the B button and hold the right trigger button to actually use a weapon and stuff.
Who are you? What's your name?
Henry. And you?
This is my dream and you don't even know my name. It's Cynthia.
Your dream.
That's right. This is just a dream. And a really terrible one too. I hope I wake up soon.
So you think this is a dream, huh?
Well, if it's not a dream, what is it? Anyway, I want to get out of here, but I can't find the exit. Say, will you help me find it? I'm kind of scared all alone. I'll do a special favor for you later. It's just a dream, so I might as well have some fun.
Alright guys, so I'm gonna pause it here until I can get to an enemy so I can show you guys the combat. So now we've encountered some dog creatures. Whatever the hell they are. So like your typical... You can stomp them out, just like you do in other Silent Hill games. And like other Silent Hill games, when you kill a creature, blood will come out of its body, so you'll know that it is dead. It's crazy, listening to all that eerie sounds and stuff. It's just really great, really unsettling game, but definitely one I think you guys should check out. Silent Hill 4: The Room is an awesome game. It just was a real departure initially from the original Silent Hill games, as it did have that hub world, but I thought it was a nice progression for the game series to go. So really cool game. Definitely you guys should check it out. Silent Hill 4 is awesome, and it's definitely one I need to actually take the time, play through it, and beat it. But I hope you guys enjoyed this look at Silent Hill 4: The Room. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that look at Silent Hill 4: The Room for the original Xbox. You know, I had mentioned that I never actually did beat this game, as this is one of the Silent Hill titles I never did beat, sadly. And it's one that I'm hoping to eventually beat, as I would like to see the ending and see if there is more than one ending to this game, as I can't remember, as it's been so long since I played this one. Definitely an interesting game in the series. It just was such a departure for me personally from the previous 3 Silent Hill games, but still one that I think is good and would recommend you guys pick up. Now, the next game we're going to talk about here was actually released on PSP and PlayStation 2, and I own it on both, and I've beat it on both multiple times. And that is Silent Hill Origins, which this is an awesome game, as this is a prequel to the Silent Hill series and takes place right before Silent Hill 1. And I first had played this game on the PSP and absolutely loved it, and I beat it multiple times and unlocked the different endings in the game. And then eventually, you know, they wanted to port it to PlayStation 2 so they could reach a wider audience, as the PSP was not a very popular handheld for Sony, and Konami and them wanted to expand their player base by bringing it to the PlayStation 2. Now, I will show you guys some gameplay of the PS2 one here in a moment, but in this one, you play as Travis Grady. He's a lone trucker with a troubled past, must survive the night as he enters a frightening town of Silent Hill. So you get to actually go back and revisit the map and town of Silent Hill from the very first game, and you get to play the origins of the story, which is why they call it Silent Hill Origins, and it sets up the story for Silent Hill 1, and you get to play as Travis Grady. So again, another average Joe person who's set into the world of Silent Hill. Now, what was different about this one is the fact that this game had breakable weapons, so like you could find weapons throughout the world that you could fight enemies with, but eventually they would take damage and break on you, and you'd have to find more of them, and some did different damage than others did. And when I saw that this game had got ported to the PlayStation 2, I knew I had to pick up a copy, as I had played other games like the Grand Theft Auto Vice City stories, you know, games that had been ported to PlayStation 2. you know, they get a little upgrade into the graphics and control, and you also get to play on the big screen, which is a great draw for it. And I absolutely love Silent Hill Origin, another one of my favorite games in this series, and I love how its story is connected to Silent Hills 1 and 3. So let's take a look at Silent Hill Origins and tell you guys why I love this game. Alright friends, we're looking now at Silent Hill Origins, and this is being played on my PlayStation 2. Now this game was originally made for the PSP Portable, but they eventually ported it to the PlayStation 2 as they wanted to reach a broader audience because the PSP was not a big success for Sony, and so Konami wanted to expand their player base by porting it to PlayStation 2, which is great because now you get to play it on the big screen. I beat this game many times on the PSP, and I've also beat it here many times on the PS2 and unlocked various endings, because this game does have multiple endings, but it also has secret stuff you guys can unlock like you did in Silent Hill 2 and 3. There's secret weapons and stuff. So I'm going to load a save here when I started playing a new game, and I'm about 9 minutes in. Of course, this game has different difficulty setting. The harder difficulty you play on it, obviously the game's going to be a lot more challenging. There's puzzles and stuff to solve. I currently have equipped some secret weapons that you unlock by meeting certain criteria in the game, that you can unlock different suits and stuff. So I've got another thing here with the menu is a little different than Silent Hills 1, 2, or 3. Again, you have your classic flashlight, which is useful for seeing stuff and reading the map. However, enemies are easy, can spot you easier. So if you turn off the flashlight, especially in this game, it really helps. You can sneak by enemies, so you don't have to always fight them. Again, you have a radio, which again emits static and makes noise when enemies are nearby, but you do not need to worry about the enemies hearing it because they can't. And then here's a secret weapon. These are night vision goggles, which you can beat by beating the game with not using your flashlight as much. And then there's this lucky quarter, and then a key that says room 502, which is another secret thing you can unlock. So you have your items. Then it also breaks it down with supplies like the Silent Hill 3 did. Keeps them separate, so there you have health drinks again, your first aid kits. So just like with the other Silent Hill games, you know, the first aid health drinks will heal you, but not as much as like an actual first aid kit will. And then you have melee weapons, which these are the moon gauntlets I unlock, which are unbreakable, but this game did introduce breakable weapons. As you'll play through the game, you'll find different items that you can use for melee to fight. Then also has firearms. When you unlock them, you'll have firearms here, your handguns, shotguns, that kind of thing, rifles. As you play through, you know, you'll unlock more powerful weapons, which are useful for bosses, because this game, just like previous Silent Hills, has a lot of firearms. You also have outfits that you can unlock as well, like you did in Silent Hill 3. So then you unlock these by completing certain factors in the game and stuff. So like I have this Black Ops team outfit on. You have a savior outfit, and so you can go for trying to unlock all the costumes, which I just find fun. You have your notes that you can go through, and then of course your maps, which you can see is the old map from Silent Hill 1. You're in that same hospital, which is really cool, just going back to Aklamila Hospital again. Just very cool. Now of course you'll notice the graphics aren't the best for PlayStation 2, but you gotta remember that this is a port of an old PSP game, so it did get a little visual boost by being ported to PS2, but you gotta realize that it is a PSP game. And so this is one of the shorter Silent Hill games, though you can beat a lot of the Silent Hill games fairly quickly if you know what you're doing. But it's still a really enjoyable experience. And if you do explore and take your time, you know, you can beat this game in like 5 to 10 hours, just depending on how well you know the game and what difficulty you play it on. So again, I love the eerie atmosphere of this game. And just really fun. And again, Travis will turn his head when he finds things he can interact with, like that door. So just like in previous games, Travis will update the map for you, letting you know what's locked and what items and what things you have on, like a save will be on there, and what doors you can go through and interact with. So very handy. So definitely an interesting game, and now we got a little cutscene here for you guys. So you guys can see the fantastic voice acting they have.
Hey, you a doctor?
Can I help you?
That fire last night. The girl who was burned. Is she here?
A girl? We've received no new patients in the last day or so. Was she hurt?
She was burned all over.
Are you a relative? What did you say her name was?
I don't know her name. I was the one who saved her from the fire. She must have been brought here. Is there another hospital?
I'm sorry. Perhaps someone in reception can help you. I have urgent business to attend to. Goodbye.
Dirty gurney someone left here. And look, there's some bloody footprints because I just stepped in blood. Just cool. So let's go to 2. Where that dude was going to, and see what the hell's going on. Now I think I'll start encountering some actual enemies for you guys so I can show you fighting. So again, you can turn off the light or have it on. Yep, now we're going to encounter our first enemy here.
Yes?
One of those classic Silent Hill villains, those evil nurses. So here's where you pick up a hammer. Oops, damn it. I didn't mean to do that. Let's go back there and let's fight this nurse. There is some quick time events when enemies will get on you, so you gotta be able to be quick enough to take them out. So of course, having those super gauntlets does really good melee damage, but this is where you'd have your normal weapon. And again, just like other Silent Hill games, you're going to find memos and stuff. And you'll want to read them because it brings up lore and stuff, but it also can help you solve puzzles as well. And this is a first for the series compared to other games, is that in all these Silent Hill worlds, the games, they actually have a hellish nightmare world, like another version of reality that you interact with and eventually go to, which characters usually don't have a choice when they want to go to. However, in this game, Travis is able to interact with the mirror and he can change at will going between them. So it's just really cool. Really freaky there. Like, look, you can see her in the other world, and then you interact with it. Now, that's what I normally look like if I didn't have my suit on, with my special clothes. I'd have the trucker outfit. I'm in the nightmare
Seeing
world.
things. This ain't right.
And now look how much more creepy that the world is now in these hellish nightmares. That's one thing I really love and spooky about the Silent Hill games is getting into these other worlds. Ooh, we found a health drink. Nice. Now I'll try to show you guys some more combat here. If we can find one more nurse to battle here. And then again, you can do a finishing move to put him down for good. But as you see this, you can see the status of your weapon. See how it was green, now it turned orange. So a few more battles with this, and eventually this weapon will break, and I'll have to use another one, which is cool. You don't have to worry about your guns breaking. But you just have to worry about having ammo. And again, this is one of those games, like the other Silent Hill games, you don't want to always fight. Sometimes you will want to run from enemies. And sometimes the game can be really dark, so I do recommend adjusting the brightness on your TV, as sometimes these old PlayStation 2 games on modern TVs can be kind of hard to see, but it makes it harder for enemies to spot you when you have the flashlight off. But I just wanted to give you guys a little look here at Silent Hill Origins. I really love this game. It was fantastic on PSP, and it's even better that they ported it for PlayStation 2. Definitely think you guys should check out Silent Hill Origins, as it's a prequel to the original Silent Hill game and is connected to Silent Hills 1 and 3. Definitely you guys should check out Silent Hill Origins. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed that look at Silent Hill Origins. Like I said, we got it on PSP and PlayStation 2. Fantastic game, absolutely love this, as it is that prequel to the original Silent Hill. I love that it had items that were destructible. I love the different enemy design in the game. I love the puzzle aspect. The music again was fantastic, and it had a really good story. It is one of the shorter Silent Hill experiences since it was on the PSP, but one I highly recommend if you've never played it to definitely pick up and play Silent Hill Origins. It's a fantastic game, and again has more than one ending, and was a game that I had an absolute blast with. So that was Silent Hill Origins. Now we're going to talk about one for the Xbox 360, it was also on PlayStation 3, called Silent Hill Homecoming, which I did enjoy Silent Hill Homecoming, but a lot of people did not enjoy this because this was not made by the original Team Silent that made the original Silent Hill games. So this game does get a lot of hate, but it's one that I have enjoyed, and I beat this game multiple times, unlocked every ending the game had as well. So I'll read you guys a little bit back here. So you play as Alex Shepard. He's returned home in search of his missing brother, but to find him, Alex will have to journey into the heart of evil and survive the horrors of Silent Hill. So Alex Shepard is a soldier, so this is the first time in the series where you're playing a main character who is actually trained in combat and weapons and stuff, and so that shows in the control of Alex. However, this game had a real big focus on melee combat over gun combat. You actually had to unlock more ammo and stuff if you beat the game, as it was intended to be played with more melee weapons and the various creatures and bosses. You could actually fight bosses in the Silent Hill games, which I really did love, the unique boss battles you would encounter. This was the first game where you actually were fighting bosses with melee weapons and not using guns, as guns were not plentiful in this game until you unlock that as in subsequent, playthroughs later on in the game. But I did enjoy Silent Hill Homecoming. It had fantastic graphics. It still had pretty decent music. I enjoyed the story. Game gets a lot of hate, but it's one I think you guys should enjoy. So let's take a look at Silent Hill Homecoming, and I'll talk a little bit more in detail about the game. as we're taking a look at Silent Hill Homecoming for Xbox 360. Turn up the brightness. So you can play in either normal, which all monsters and ammo are set to default values, or you can play on hard, where monsters are tougher, hit harder, and there's less ammo available in the world.
Where's my squad? Are they here? Did they make it? Hey, talk to me. Say something. Oh, God. Oh, God! Hey, what are they doing? What's going on there? Hey, where are you taking me? No! Hey! No! Where am I? Hey, what is this place? Hey, where are you taking me? No! Where am I, man? Hey, wait. Where are you going? Don't leave me here!
So that's your introduction right into the world of Silent Hill Homecoming. It's a pretty brutal way to start the game out, but really cool. Turn on your light. Now this game does have a unique inventory system where you actually hold the push the left bumper button to see inventory for your health drinks, first aid kits, and unusable items. If you hit the right bumper button, you actually have a list of where your weapons are, your flashlight, and your radio. So again, like previous Silent Hill games, it has the classic radio that emits static and noise. When monsters are nearby, they can't hear it, so it's important to always use that. And then of course the flashlight allows you to see, but of course it does give your position away to enemies. So if you turn off the flashlight, you can sometimes sneak by them. And you can use the up on the D-pad to turn it on or off. Don't have any maps currently. And again, like other Silent Hill games, you will find memos and stuff, which do give important clues on solving puzzles, but also can give you some info and lore into the game. Now you will notice though that Alex here controls a lot more smooth compared to older Silent Hill games, and he can dodge and roll around, and that's because it's a more modern Silent Hill, but also because Alex is a trained soldier, so he is good with melee and handguns, so he does have better combat compared to other protagonists in the Silent Hill series. And the visuals look really nice. I'm actually playing this on my Xbox One X, as I forgot that this game is actually backwards compatible, and you get a nice graphical boost by playing it on your Xbox One X or Series console, so I definitely recommend playing it on the 360 through backwards compatibility over the PS3 version. And so Alex Shepard is trying to find his brother Josh, And that's what the main overall story of this game is about, trying to rescue him.
Josh, is that you?
And so now I've come up to my first puzzle is trying to figure out what the code is to this door in order to open it so I can get to Josh over there. As you can see, there's a code there, so here's another puzzle to solve. Try to figure out the code. So far we can see it says 624. Gotta find the other remaining piece of that X-ray. And there's our classic map for Silent Hill. Alclamia Hospital. So the same name as the first game's hospital, only it has a different layout. And it is a mental hospital over being a regular hospital. Attention staff, our security has been somewhat compromised. A patient used an X-ray film to write down the code for the security gate. We have recovered the first half, but the second half is still missing. Should you find the missing X-ray piece, be sure to notify head of security immediately. So now it's giving you a clue on how to solve the puzzle. We gotta go find where that patient put it. And again, just like in other Silent Hill games, as you interact with the map and the world, your character Alex will actually update the map in real time by putting whether you can go through a door, or if it's locked, or if you can't go through with squiggly lines, and important objectives. So very cool. And then you can see your overall objective here, which is escape from the hospital. Ooh, that's creepy, a crying baby. I do love how these games make you feel uneasy with just creepy horror shit everywhere. So you guys can see, as I'm interacting in the environment, my map is being updated in real time, which is great. So let's see where this crying baby's coming from. A baby incubator. A child's doll appears to be burned. I wonder how it got in here. That's creepy. It was making the noise and now not making any noise. Ooh, a health drink. So a staple in these Silent Hill games, having health drinks and first aid kits. Of course, health drinks only heal you so much, whereas first aid kits heal you the most. And this game does have a high focus on melee combat over using guns, which there are guns, but not as plentiful as in other Silent Hill entries. Here's a little thing telling you about combat. And you'll read that and learn how to do melee combat. Hey, here's the other piece of the X-ray film. Alright. Now we'll go put this there and we'll solve our first puzzle. Getting that door code. Jesus. I forgot about that. Fucking skinned body there, God. Gotta watch out for some of the jump scares that the game does have sometimes. Here, inventory. Put the other X-ray film up. Alright, we now have the code 624-872. So you can go pause a minute and check your journal, and it'll tell you a clue. So here's the code there. If you were to forget it, you don't have to worry about like memorizing it yourself or writing it down, because the game will keep track of it for you. Then you have your little manual for combat and stuff, and then photos and drawings. There are some collectibles to find in this game compared to other Silent Hills that didn't really have collectibles. This one does. 8, 7. Okay.
Josh, where are you going?
So here we can get our first collectible, and it's of the rabbits. And if you're familiar with the Silent Hill series, you know all about Robbie Rabbit. Was in Silent Hill 3 and been featured in other Silent Hill titles.
Josh, stop!
And then there's a save point, so like other Silent Hill games, find a save, you can actually save in the world. Finally get our first weapon, not combat knife. I always liked the transition to the Hell World in Silent Hill Homecoming. I think they did a really good job with it. Now we're going to fight our first enemy, the classic nurse demon. Classic Silent Hill monster. Just love how visually the world is, how nice it looks. Oh, that's creepy. Some things growing out of the toilet. But yeah, visually this game just looks really impressive. Got our first aid kit. That's nice. Now, if you guys have ever watched the Silent Hill movie, you'll see that this game took a lot of inspiration from that, as far as with the design of the nurses and the way that the world kind of peels away, because that's how it was in the Silent Hill movie. So you can definitely tell that the creators got a lot of influence from the movie. That's a little creepy. Again, I see her was making noise now. Now it's the first time I'm going to be fighting multiple enemies at once, so you gotta be really careful. Try to lure them over here so you can fight them one-on-one. The nurses aren't too bad if you can just keep attacking and keep them from attacking you. Oh, damn it. And then you can see my health bar there. Shows you I've taken some damage. The TV isn't plugged in. How's this possible? Because that's Silent Hill and anything can fucking happen. And this is pretty cool. These like flesh doors just are cut open. Pretty creepy. Another safe spot where we can save. So I just wanted to give you guys a little look at the game. Now this game does get some hate because of the team behind this being a Western team and not Team Silent, and then they bring in some lore and some gameplay from previous Silent Hill games and characters and monsters and designs from other Silent Hill. Some people felt it was kind of like a rip-off, but it's one that I really enjoyed, and I think you guys would enjoy playing it as well. That also has multiple endings that you can unlock, including secret endings, so it's definitely a really interesting game in the series. Here's another classic, the Silent Hill roach creatures. Wow, damn creepy little bastards. Alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this little look here at Silent Hill Homecoming. It's one that I really enjoy. It's definitely one I suggest you guys pick up and play, especially on the Xbox One if you have an Xbox 360 copy, because it is backwards compatible and also will be compatible with Xbox Series consoles, and it'll get a great boost to performance and graphics. And it's definitely a really fun game. Just know though that this game does have a heavy focus on melee, and as you play through the story, you'll encounter new enemies that'll be a lot more difficult to kill. But again, being a Silent Hill game, you know, running is always an option, and you don't have to always fight, and sometimes running is the correct thing to do. So I hope you guys enjoyed this look at Silent Hill Homecoming. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed that look at Silent Hill Homecoming. Now I know, like I had mentioned, you know, this game gets a lot of hate, but I absolutely enjoyed Silent Hill Homecoming. It's definitely one I think you guys should check out. You know, just be aware though that it is a lot more difficult than the previous Silent Hill games, because they had such a focus on dodging and melee combat, and you really have to get good with the dodging and melee combat to successfully play this game, because health items are not plentiful, and so you got to be careful because you can die pretty easily in this game. But once you learn how to play it, it's a fantastic game. Really did enjoy the story, the characters, the atmosphere, the music, everything about this game for me was fantastic. Now I will admit it's not as good as the original Silent Hill games that were made by Team Silent, but still is a fantastic game that I recommend you guys check out. You can get it on PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360. A really good game in the Silent Hill series. Now the next one we're going to talk about is a game for Xbox 360, and it's another Silent Hill game that I really do love and enjoy. I've beat it multiple times. I unlocked all the endings, and I even beat it on the hardest difficulty setting earlier this year, and that is Silent Hill Downpour for Xbox 360. Now, this is also released on PlayStation 3. However, I have heard that the PlayStation 3 version of this game has more issues with glitches and graphical issues and stuff, where the Xbox 360 version does not have as many issues. The other really nice thing too is that this game is backwards compatible with Xbox One and Xbox Series consoles, And I found that if you play it on your Xbox One X or Xbox Series consoles, that the issues you may encounter on the 360 don't really happen on the Xbox One or Series console, because they're much more powerful hardware, and the game loads faster, and I have not experienced really any graphical glitch or anything. Now, this Silent Hill game has a huge theme of dealing with water, and you play as Murphy Pendleton, who is a prisoner who is being transported to another prison, and his bus that he's on gets knocked off the road, and he awakens and then finds himself on the outskirts of Silent Hill, and eventually makes his way into Silent Hill and goes into his story of revenge and stuff that happened to his son Charlie. And it's the first time that you're playing as a main character who is not right off the bat seen as like a killer or really like an evil character, where like in Silent Hill 1, Harry Mason wasn't like an evil character, you know, where sometimes they try to portray the different protagonists in the Silent Hills of characters of like being evil, or, you know, just have a overall like they're not normal people, where you can really sympathize with Murphy Pendleton. And I really enjoyed the game. Now, this game probably gets the most hate of any of the Silent Hill games in the series, but it's one that I thoroughly enjoyed. I loved the music. Again, the atmosphere here. I like the various monsters that Murphy fights. The town looks really good in HD, especially playing it on my Xbox One X. The game looks fantastic, controls really well. And this was the first Silent Hill game to have a main story, but then they added side quests to a game. You know, it never had side quests in a Silent Hill before. You know, you would go through the main story and puzzles and stuff, and that's all. Where this one gave you the option to solve other puzzles, and by completing some of these side missions, you would unlock things like a gold handgun, or you would unlock extra ammo and weapons to use in the game. This is also a game that had breakable melee weapons. They did have some secret weapons you can unlock that wouldn't break, but like handguns and stuff, you know, would run out of ammo, and you could actually break them by using them as melee weapons. And so it was really interesting aspect to a Silent Hill game by having weapons that weren't unbreakable, where in the previous Silent Hill games, besides Silent Hill Origins, you know, you'd find a pipe, and then that pipe would be with you the whole game. It would never break. And this one, you know, the pipe would only last so long, and eventually would break on you. And it could be pretty intense if you're fighting a group of enemies and your melee weapon breaks, and now you have nothing but your bare fists and hands to use, and you got to run and find another weapon. So it was really cool, and I really enjoyed the story of Silent Hill Downpour. And it's one I think you guys should give a chance to. I know it gets a lot of hate, and it's one that people did not really enjoy, but it's one I think you guys should check out. So let's take a look here at Silent Hill Downpour, and I'll talk a little bit more detail about why I like the game. Alright, let's take a look at Silent Hill Downpour. Really fantastic game in the Silent Hill series. And one I really think you guys should definitely check out. So I'm going to pause the video here. I'm going to start a new game because of where I'm at the end of the game when I beat this on hard difficulty. I want to show you guys more of the game. So I'm going to actually start a new one and go through the beginning, but I want you guys to have to sit through the whole intro cutscene and everything. But we'll resume it in just a second. Alright, so here we are with Silent Hill Downpour. Really do love the visuals of this game. It just looks fantastic, especially with the eerie fog that the series is known for. Really good game. And what's pretty cool is that Murphy has his little journal here that keeps track of what he has to do and tips and stuff, and he also will have his map and stuff on here. we've got the map to the area, which is classic in these Silent Hill games. And this game, unlike previous Silent Hill games where you would find a weapon like this wrench and you would keep it the whole game, this game has destructible weapons, so they only last so long and they will eventually break and you'll have to find new ones. As you fight through combat, enemies will damage your weapons and eventually they break on you, so you have to be mindful of your weapons. You're also able to block for the first time in a Silent Hill game, which is cool, so you can actually block enemies when before Silent Hill games you could not. And you do need to find certain pieces to solve puzzles, like how would I get in this lock? If you have this wrench, you can actually break the lock. So it's really cool being able to solve puzzles. I also love that you can throw weapons as well if you want to. Not that it's very effective, but you can. Another thing that's unique too is that you have the radio like you had in previous Silent Hill games, where it will emit noise when an enemy is nearby. And something that's really cool about this is that there's actually multiple places that you can find the radio, where I found it at the beginning by the bus, but if you missed it there, you can actually find one here. And you also find multiple flashlights, which I have. And one aspect too that'll happen as you play through this story is there are times where you will lose some of your items by falling and having to do a button prompt to get you up and out of that situation. So there are times where the game will take your weapons from you, which kind of is irritating, but it just happens with this. And this game also does not have like your traditional Silent Hills where you'll go around and save at save spots. The game has certain times where it'll actually save for you. Find a way out of the area, so here we are.
Free trade ticket. So where the hell's the machine? This must be the ticket machine.
So you have your little inventory where you have the various items you find. And of course, Murphy has to solve puzzles like you do in other Silent Hill games.
These games over look ancient.
And then you want to just scour the area where you can find weapons, because like I said, they will be very important for fighting enemies. But a core theme too with the Silent Hill games compared to other horror games is there's a big emphasis on knowing when to fight and when to run. You know, you don't want to fight every enemy you encounter. You want to fight as few enemies as you can to preserve your health and your other resources, because they are very scarce since this is a survival horror. Now, I just wanted to talk a little bit about Silent Hill Downpour. Really love the visuals on this game. I love the story in it. And I love that it actually has side quests and stuff you can actually go through and acquire. And you don't have to just play the main story. That was the very first time they ever did that in a Silent Hill game, by adding side quests to a Silent Hill title. And then also having breakable weapons just like you had in Silent Hill Origins. Really cool. And it's definitely one I think you guys should check out, as I had an absolute blast playing through this. I'm playing it here on my Xbox One X. I beat it multiple times, Got all the endings. I even beat it on the hardest difficulty back in April of this year. And it's one I thoroughly enjoyed. And it's definitely a Silent Hill title that I would recommend you guys check out, especially if you have never played it before, as it is really good. Great voice acting, fantastic music. You know, music isn't composed by Akira Yamaoka, but it definitely still has a Silent Hill vibe to it. And it's one that I really did enjoy, and I definitely think you guys will enjoy it as well. I just wanted to give you guys a little taste of the game. Of course, as we make in this Silent Hill series, you know, I didn't want to ruin any of the story for you guys, so I didn't want to share too much about the games, as I don't want to ruin it for anyone who hasn't experienced any of these Silent Hill titles. But this was a look at Silent Hill Downpour. So that was a look at Silent Hill Downpour. Definitely one I think you guys should check out, especially if you're a fan of the Silent Hill series like I am, and you've never had a chance to play this. Highly recommend it, as I really love what they did with this game. I love the aspect of them incorporating side quests into a Silent Hill game. You know, it was the first time ever in the series where you don't just go through the main story like you do in the other games, but you actually have some side quests that are optional that you can go through. And by going through those side quests, you know, you can actually unlock some in-game content for the game. You can get some more lore. There's some Easter eggs that connect this to other games in the Silent Hill series, which is really cool. And different things you will discover about the town. And so I really like that aspect to the game, is having those side quests where you can decide to do more, or you can do is the minimum to get through the game. Really cool one. I also love the aspect of using rain and water as an overall theme for the game, and how when it's raining outside and it starts like thunderstorm and pouring out, that it starts drawing out even more monsters and it makes them even stronger, so the water powers them up. I just love that overall theme of using water to affect stuff in the game world. So I thought that was really cool, and it's definitely one I think you guys should give a try. You know, definitely check out Silent Hill Downpour. Don't listen to all the hate and criticism that this game gets. Trust me, it is a really good game, and I beat it multiple times and unlocked all the content, all the endings, and I even beat it on the hardest difficulty setting, as I just loved that game that much, that it was that fun to keep playing over and over again. So definitely think you guys should check it out. Now, I would recommend to play it for the Xbox 360 version over the PS3 version, as I have heard the PS3 version is still plagued with more bugs and graphical glitches and stuff. I encountered a couple bug issues when I was playing this on my 360, but once I took it over to my Xbox One X with backwards compatibility, completely fixed any graphical glitches and performance issues and stuff that the 360 was having. And it completely fixed it because it's on much more powerful hardware. And of course, if you play it on Xbox Series consoles, even run even better on there, since it's even more powerful console. So definitely recommend the 360 version. Play it through backwards compatibility if you have the Xbox One or Series consoles, as it'll definitely enhance performance of the game. Now, the next one we're going to talk about is one I shared and showed you guys earlier in this video. But now we're going to finally talk about another one for Xbox 360. It was also released on PS3, and that is the Silent Hill HD Collection, which I was really excited when I heard the announcement of the Silent Hill HD Collection, because I was hoping that they were going to remaster Silent Hills 1, 2, and 3, and 4. You know, maybe a bunch of them in a collection. I'm like, man, that'd be really cool, and have HD. Specifically, I was hoping they were going to do the first Silent Hill game, as you know, it was an old PS1 game. Like, man, it would be awesome to see Silent Hill 1 with modern graphics. But sadly, we only received Silent Hills 2 and 3, which are still good, because like I said, Silent Hill 2 is still my favorite game of all time, and I really love Silent Hill 3 since it connected with Silent Hill 1. But when this game launched, it was just plagued with bugs, especially on the PS3. Like, the PS3 version was even more buggy, and I don't know what it is with the PlayStation 3 version of Silent Hill games, but they always seem to be plagued with a lot of bugs. And same with other multi-plat games. Like the Sony PlayStation 3 console did have a lot of issues with certain titles, and so this one had a lot of graphical glitches and stuff. It also had it here on Xbox 360, and they had to patch several issues over time, and even after all the patches and stuff, you know, there's still some bugs and stuff you can encounter with this game. Graphical glitches and audio issues happening and random static noises, and sometimes the game just crashing on people. But this is also backwards compatible on Xbox One and Xbox Series consoles. And again, by playing it on the more powerful hardware and this stuff, you know, you have less issues to deal with as the game performs a lot better, faster loading, and graphics get a little boost and everything over the 360 version. And by playing it on through console, you know, it just looks so much better. Definitely an interesting concept. But this game just has a lot of hate, though, because of all those graphical glitches and bugs and stuff, and it really turned people off. Another big thing about this that really upset people, too, was that when they were remastering this game, I don't know if it was Silent Hill 2 or 3, or if it was both of them, but I remember that one of the games, the Konami had actually lost the completed source code, and they had to go back to an inferior version that they had that was broken and glitched out, and they used that in this HD collection, and people had noticed that and said that, you know, that because of that, that's why it was plagued with a lot of bugs and stuff. I don't remember if it was Silent Hill 2 or 3 or if it was both of them, but there was that issue. It might be more of the Silent Hill 3, because they also did something that was really annoying, was they changed voice actors for this HD remaster. Instead of just using the original voices, you know, they decided to do new ones. Now, if you do play Silent Hill 2, you do get the option to play with the original voices over the new voices. And trust me, go with the old voices, because the old voice actors, they really fit the characters well. They were good voice actors, you know, it fit great. Now, when you play this Silent Hill 2 with the new voices, you know, especially when you're coming from playing the old PS2 and original Xbox version, you know, it just doesn't fit the characters at all. James' voice, Maria's voice, Eddie's voice, all the characters, just terrible choices, and the voice actors did a horrible job on it. Now, when you play Silent Hill 3, you only have the new voices, but I didn't notice the voice actors being as bad in Silent Hill 3 as they were with 2. Just know, though, that unfortunately, this HD collection, if you play Silent Hill 3, you can't use the original voices. And I think that's what leads me more to believe that it was a Silent Hill 3 that they lost the original complete source code to and had to use that inferior version. But I overall did enjoy this HD collection. I've beat Silent Hill 2 and 3 on this collection multiple times, got all kinds of different endings, played this over the years. I really did enjoy it, but it's not one I can really recommend to you guys unless you're a die-hard hardcore fan. I would say if you want to play Silent Hill 2 and 3, just play the originals. And if you do want to play on more modern hardware, you know, you can get this Xbox 360 copy. Is definitely the one I would get. I would definitely stay away from the PS3 version, as there's no point in playing that when you can play the originals, or, you know, pick up the 360 copy and play it through backwards compatibility on your Xbox One X or Xbox Series consoles, because it does help enhance performance of the game and visuals and stuff. But like I said, I can't recommend this one to you guys unless you're a die-hard Silent Hill fan like myself, and, you know, you just gotta play through the stories again in an HD setting, and you're okay with seeing some graphical glitches and bugs and stuff that still were never ironed out. But an interesting concept. I would love for us in the future to get another HD remaster of maybe the entire series. You know, it's just a pipe dream, but it would be really cool if we were to get a new HD collection. It'd be really cool. Alright, so there's that. Now we're going to move on to another game in the Silent Hill series, one that I don't have a lot of experience playing, as I watched my brother play it and just wasn't the kind of Silent Hill game that I really wanted. But I did buy it when it was released with 3 different versions for the Wii, PlayStation 2, and the PSP. Now, I only have the PSP version here with me, and that's the one I'm going to show, and that is Silent Hill Shattered Memories. So now this was a reimagining of the first Silent Hill game. You still play as Harry Mason, but they completely changed the game and how it plays. There's a psychological exam that you play in the beginning by answering questions, and then the game tailors how you play it based on your answers to that question. And so that's like in a first-person view, and then you have an over-the-shoulder view where you play through the game. So it's set in its own universe. It's still Silent Hill in town, but it's a totally different layout, different characters. There's some characters from the original Silent Hill 1 in this, but then there's also new ones. There's like 5 different endings, and they took out the whole combat to Silent Hill is something that I really loved. You know, Silent Hill was known for fighting monsters and stuff. This one, you actually have to run and hide from monsters, which there's been a lot of horror games like the Outlast and stuff, and where you are running from monsters and creatures and you don't fight them and you just run and hide. And, you know, this is one of the first games to start that trend for horror games. And it's just, you know, it just kind of annoyed me with, oh, you can't fight the monsters, you have to run and hide, and you know, you encounter them less and less, and it just wasn't the Silent Hill game for me, but it is one I would like to revisit, and I would like to play and beat. So I'm not going to share any gameplay of this one, only because, you know, I've only played it for like maybe a half hour after I watched my brother play, and I played it myself a little bit. It just was hard for me to get in. I do know that this did get a lot of praise, though. A lot of people really loved it and enjoyed it. So that's why I want to give it a try and check it out. So I can't recommend it or not recommend it to you guys, only because I can't form a strong opinion of the game until I play through it more and see how I enjoy it. But I'll read you guys a little bit back. So, escape the nightmare. Harry Mason must survive untold horrors to find his missing daughter and the twisted truth behind the town of Silent Hill. And it says, deep story that will take you on a tension-filled roller coaster ride. Adaptive gameplay that profiles you and forces you to face your innermost fears. So just a really interesting concept to a Silent Hill game by taking out the combat and stuff, you know, which was the core gameplay to Silent Hill series. So, you know, I'm not sure how well I'm going to like this game overall. You know, am I going to play it multiple times to get all the endings or not? But once I get through it and play it, I will definitely let you guys know my thoughts on it. So stay tuned in the future in one of my weekly playlist videos when I do go through and tackle this game and play through it all the way from the beginning to the end. Then I can form a better opinion on the game. But since this video is all about Silent Hill, you know, I had to talk about it. And I've heard good things about it. My brother really loved it. I know some friends and stuff loved it. I had buddies here on YouTube who mentioned it. So it's definitely one I'm going to give a try and check it out. But as of now, I can't really form an opinion whether I like it or don't like it until I actually fully play through the game and experience it, the story and everything, and see how I like it overall. So that is Silent Hill Shattered Memories. Now we're going to talk about the final Silent Hill game I have in my collection, which this is for the PlayStation Vita, a handheld one. And it's definitely a game that is really taken away from the Silent Hill experience and the series. Like, it's a completely different kind of Silent Hill game, and that is called Silent Hill Book of Memories, only released for PlayStation Vita. And on the back here it says, what would you change if you could alter your past? So what's really interesting about this is that this is an isometric top-down action RPG with a Silent Hill setting where you pick a character and play through an action RPG, which I'm a huge fan of action RPGs, and I thought this was a really interesting concept for a Silent Hill game. Of course, it's not the same with the horror and stuff. You know, that's why I know a lot of people hated it, but I had a lot of fun. And this is one of the first games I bought when I bought my PlayStation Vita, and I'm glad that I got a complete copy and in good condition with the case and everything, because I hate having loose Vita games. But I really did enjoy playing through this one, and I would love to beat it. And it's really cool because this does have connection to other Silent Hill games, and it also has a character, the mailman from Silent Hill Downpour. He actually runs the shop in this game, which is really cool. So I'm going to take you guys a chance here to look at Silent Hill Book of Memories. Alright, now we're looking at Silent Hill Book of Memories for PlayStation Vita. Now this game completely changed the formula of a traditional Silent Hill game. Every other Silent Hill game is a third-person survival horror game, where this Silent Hill game is actually an isometric top-down action RPG, which is a really cool game that I actually really enjoy, but it did get a lot of mixed reviews and some hate, because it changed the formula so much. You know, most people for the PlayStation Vita wanted to have another Silent Hill game that was traditional and would be similar to Silent Hill Origins that was released on PSP. So people were a little disappointed in this title and that it didn't stick to the traditional Silent Hill formula. But I personally do love this game, and this is also the first Silent Hill game that actually has multiplayer. You can play this game with up to 4 players total, which is cool. And you also get to create your own character in this game, which I'll show you guys that little character option here. You'll choose a basic character, male or female, and then you can adjust their class, which is basically, in an RPG, you know, the type of character you want to play as. It's someone who does like melee weapons or somebody who's with firearms and stuff. So you actually get to have different classes, which is this is unique for a Silent Hill title. But you also can adjust your character's look, change their outfits, which there's not a whole lot. You have a minimal amount of outfits to wear. You can change hair color, the hats, and if they have any accessories on their face. And then once you do unlock identity stones, you can then change the character's name, because right now mine just says P1, but I'll eventually change it. But then you can adjust their head and skin tone and stuff. So it's just really interesting that a Silent Hill game lets you create your own character. Now your character is gifted on their birthday this book of memories, which has their entire life written in that book. However, they discover that they can edit that book and it actually does changes in their life. However, it has unforeseen consequences for messing around with the book. And so that's what your character has to deal with. And when they go to sleep, they dream and end up in a Silent Hill world and have to battle all kinds of demons and creatures, which is really cool. In the menu here, you have about your character stats, which I'm currently level 5, which you kill enemies, you do level up, and then you have a variety of weapons that you can find, handguns and melee weapons, classic weapons from Silent Hill games, as well as you have attributes. You know, you have your HP, your XP, but then you also have strength, dexterity, vitality, agility, mind, intuition, and as you level up, you're able to adjust those stats, which then will determine your character, which is really cool. There's some different rooms available that you can unlock, that you explore, little stuff from the game, which is cool. There's various weapons, and you actually can level up those weapons as you find them, which is neat. There's also artifacts to find. There's notes you'll find throughout the game, which are kept here. And then you can check out the different kind of monsters you have, like nurses, there's double-headed dogs, and then some air screamers, but there's other ones that I haven't found, and there's also little TV broadcasts and stuff you can find, as well as options. So let's get into the actual gameplay now so you guys can check it out. So there's different zones that you play through, and I'm currently at zone 3. I've played the game since I bought it over like an hour and a half so far. I really enjoyed this game so far, and it tells you how many times you've completed a zone and if you've died there, which I've not died yet. And I'm currently working on the 3rd level, which I'm not sure how many levels there are, but there are 6 endings, 5 regular endings and then 1 joke ending, and some are good endings, some are bad endings, so it just depends on your moral choices in the game. And actions you do will determine the kind of ending you get. It has to do with killing certain types of enemies and collecting when they die, which I haven't gone to delve too far into because I'm so early in the game. But it's an interesting concept for the game. And I do have to let you guys know, though, there is some can be some long loading times. It's just the PlayStation Vita, and it's just how this game is. It does have some loading times that you have to be aware of. But visually, it does look really nice here on the Vita. And you can see my character. Screen looks pretty good. And that's, you save here when you find these books. And then there's a map you can see there of the various rooms. And what I like is you can dual wield weapons. And you have guns and stuff you can find. You have, or you can pull them up. And then you actually have independent buttons to fire each hand. But you could also dual wield guns, or you could dual wield a gun and a melee weapon, as there are some enemies that are easier to take down with melee weapons. And some are easier to take out with guns, but your guns are limited by ammo that you have to find around the world, but also sometimes enemies will drop items for you. And try to find some to fight real quick. But, you know, it's your traditional action RPG. So here's some Nurse One and that stupid flying demon. You gotta watch out for traps as well. And you can lock onto enemies like I did there. And then you can see their health they have on them. And then I unlocked some money, the in-game currency, which you can then use to buy stuff in the shop, health items, ammo, and you actually have to click on that to actually load, which I do love that the PlayStation Vita has a touch screen, so you can touch stuff as well, go through the various items, and you can drop things, because you can only hold so much stuff. But what's really cool is you can actually do comments.
Affirmative.
Because you're playing multiplayer, there's no voice chat or anything, but you can use that to communicate with your other players, which is pretty neat. But overall, I really do like this game, as it's just a different format for the Silent Hill series, and I think there's plenty of room to have other genres for Silent Hill besides just the traditional third-person survival horror format. Now, one thing that irritates me, though, is I really wish you could rotate the camera, which not every isometric action RPG I've played allows you to do that. I wish this one did, but it unfortunately does not. And then you can change weapons and stuff as you find them. Like, say you can find a torch and use that as a weapon. Another thing, too, in this, which is similar to Silent Hill Origins and Downpour, is that weapons actually have a durability. And over time, they will get weakened and start breaking. And eventually they break, and you'll have to find another weapon. So it's really cool for a action RPG to have breakable weapons in it. So it was something neat that they got from other Silent Hill games. Again, it has pretty fantastic music. It has sounds taken directly from other Silent Hill games. So if you heard the menu and clicking around on stuff, it sounds just like the same sounds you have in a traditional Silent Hill game. But it's definitely one that I think you guys should give a try if you are a fan of isometric action RPGs like I am, and you like the Silent Hill universe. A lot of people say it just doesn't fit in it, but you know, it's its own separate game, and the Silent Hill universe is so vast and just eerie and odd as it is, that you can definitely say that it fits in the story of Silent Hill, just because how odd the town itself is, and how it's not a traditional town, and craziness shit happens to the people who go to the town and inhabit it and everything, you know. So it's definitely a game that could fit within the established lore and story, and just a really neat game that I've had a lot of fun with, that I'm looking forward to beating. But I just wanted you guys to take a look at it and just talk about my experiences with this game, and why I enjoy playing it. So this just was a little look here at Silent Hill Book of Memories, just give you guys my thoughts on it and why I enjoy it, and why I think you guys should play it and check it out. So that was a look at Silent Hill Book of Memories for the PlayStation Vita. Now, this is definitely one of those Silent Hill games that got a lot of hate. It was one that a lot of people did not enjoy because it was so different from previous Silent Hill games. You know, people were expecting another traditional Silent Hill third-person adventure game, playing as a character, going through the story and stuff, and what we received was an isometric top-down action RPG, and a lot of people did not like that. I thought it was kind of cool and a nice way for the series to have a different game and a different genre for the series, and something to be a little different. So I can see why a lot of people did not enjoy it. But if you're a fan of the isometric action RPGs like I am, I love those action RPGs. I play them all the time. So many of them I played over the years, and I really did have a lot of fun playing Silent Hill Book of Memories. It's definitely one I want to go back and beat, and I just really love that it does have some connections to the other Silent Hill games, and it's just a different experience overall. Now, if you're someone that only likes the core Silent Hill gameplay, playing as a character, the third person, fighting, combat, adventure, solving puzzles and stuff, then this is one I would say to stay away from. But if you like action RPGs like I do, I would give this one a try for the PlayStation Vita, because it is very fun to play. Just know, though, that it's not as good as, obviously, the main Silent Hill series, but it's still one that I really enjoyed, and I think you guys would enjoy checking it out. So that will do it for all the Silent Hill games that I have, that we've talked about. But we have one final thing to talk about and share with you guys about Silent Hill, and this is actually released for the PSP, which I know a lot of people have not actually heard of this, and it's something that's really cool, and I didn't know about it until I learned about it from one of my mom's co-workers. The guy's name was Joel. This is back in, I think 2007 or 2008. It's been quite a while, and I remember that he was friends with my mom, and he would come over sometimes, and eventually became friends with my brother and I, and he was big into video games and stuff. And I remember he had this thing because he saw I had Silent Hill games, and he was like, "Oh, you like Silent Hill?" He's like, "Yeah, I love it too." He's like, "Hey, you got to check out this cool little companion piece that they released for Silent Hill." I'm like, "Okay," and I checked it out. It was something that was really awesome, and I finally got a copy of this last year, and it was really cool, and it's called The Silent Hill Experience, and this is a UMD video for PSP. And let me read you guys what from the back. It says, "Welcome to Silent Hill. The Silent Hill Experience takes viewers on a visually stunning and musical ride into the shadowy depths of Silent Hill, combining different forms of media, including digital comics, music, and video. The Silent Hill Experience provides fans a unique look into one of the most terrifying game franchises of all time. Features view over 2 hours of digital comics based on the popular Silent Hill comic series, presented with haunting music. Includes the acclaimed comic series Silent Hill Dying Inside, and a brand new Silent Hill story, The Hunger. 20 unforgettable music tracks selected from series producer and music composer Akira Yamaoka. Exclusive interview with director of the Silent Hill movie, Christopher Gans, and series music composer Akira Yamaoka. Rare video content from previous Silent Hill games." So this is an excellent companion piece to have in your Silent Hill collection, as you get to check out some videos, you get to listen to music, you get to check out comic books of Silent Hill, you get interviews, you get to with the guy that directed the Silent Hill movie and the composer of the music, Akira Yamaoka. His music was just fantastic, and what made Silent Hill so special. And this is such a great companion piece. It's just really hard to find, though. It took me a long time to track down a copy for a good price, and I did pick it up locally at one of my game stores. Really happy to have this, as this is a great companion piece to the Silent Hill collection, and just an amazing experience. And it's been a while since I've gone through this, so I definitely need to pop it in my PSP and go through it again, because I have not checked it out. But it just goes to show you how popular Silent Hill was as a franchise. I mean, it was so popular that they made 2 Silent Hill movies. I enjoyed the first one. The second one, not as much. They had tons of novels, comic books going into Silent Hill. There was also some collectible merchandise and stuff released in Japan. And just really cool overall franchise of Silent Hill. Just great, and showed you how it was. I mean, they even had pachinko machines, and they had an arcade game. Silent Hill has been a popular series, and it's sad that it's kind of died and went to the wayside. With the whole PT demo, you're supposed to get that Silent Hills game that never happened, which is such a shame. I would have really enjoyed of new Silent Hill game. I'm hoping that in the future that Konami decides to make a new Silent Hill game, as it's definitely been too long since we've received a proper Silent Hill game, and I would love to see one with modern consoles, with 9th gen gaming and modern PCs, and see what kind of game they could release. Just got to make sure that it has proper music, has great writing, and good voice actors. But that's something I would really love. But for me, I absolutely love Silent Hill franchise. My favorite horror series, survival horror game of all time, the Silent Hill series. Absolutely loved it, and that's why I had to film a video dedicated to my love of Silent Hill. I'm going to give you guys a little overview of the games I have down here. But you guys can see Silent Hill 1, Silent Hill Origins, Silent Hill 2, Silent Hill 4 The Room, Silent Hill Shattered Memories, Silent Hill Book of Memories, the Silent Hill Experience, Silent Hill HD Collection, Silent Hill Downpour, Silent Hill Homecoming, and of course these were released for multiple consoles and multiple versions of it. But I absolutely love the Silent Hill series, and it's one I definitely recommend that you check out the series. I do have to warn you though that since the pandemic hit in 2020, all the prices of these games have just shot through the roof. Like this original Silent Hill goes here between $150, $200. This goes for like $100 to $200. Silent Hill 3 goes for $150, $200. Silent Hill Downpour goes for about $50. Silent Hill 2 on original Xbox goes for like $40 and $50 here. The HD collection even goes for like $60 now. Just crazy that the pandemic drove up the prices of Silent Hill games. Now, if you can get them for a good price, I highly recommend buying them and checking them out, as I love this series, and I know you guys will enjoy them as well, especially if you've never played them. Go back and play this original one for PlayStation 1. Fantastic game. Of course, obviously, the graphics are pretty bad, but if you did play this on your PC through an emulator, you can get it upscaled into 4K, and it does look pretty damn good. As I've seen some gameplay videos on YouTube of people playing it with their PlayStation emulator on their PC. So that's another way too you could experience some of these PlayStation games, you know, on there. There's also was PC releases of a lot of these Silent Hill games. I know Silent Hill 2 and 3 and 4 are on the PC. I'm pretty sure like Homecoming is on there. So there's quite a few PC released versions of these Silent Hill games you can play as well that have updated visuals and graphics as well. But for me, love Silent Hill, and that's why I really enjoyed this series, and why I had to make this a video here in my consoles games collection discussion video. You know, definitely thing you guys should check out. So let me know your guys' thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed this look at Silent Hill and me sharing my personal memories and stories about the games and why I loved it. I'd love to know your guys' opinions though. If you guys would like to leave a comment, feel free. Let me know if you guys like Silent Hill. If this is one of those topics that you feel would be better to film a video response, I would love to check it out. I always enjoy checking out your guys' videos. If you do film a video response, just let me know about it so I can check it out, and then I will I will post a link to your video response as a comment on this video so other people can check it out. Want to thank you guys for watching. Take care. You guys have an amazing day, and Sleepy will see ya next time.